जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन, जमुना तीर वनचारी, जमुना तीर वनचारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, यशोदानंदन भज जनरंजन, यशोदानंदन भज जनरंजन, यमुना तीर वनचारी, यमुना तीर वनचारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन, यमुना तीर वनचारी, यमुना तीर वनचारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय ओम श्रीपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत शिष्यमत His Divine Grace Shri Abhay Charanarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Jagat Guru Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Deputy Founder Acharya Jagat Guru Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Stottar Sata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। ब्रज वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवदीप मायपुर धाम की जय। जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगा माई की जय। जमुना माई की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। तुलसी महारानी की जय। समावित भक्त वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glorious assembled devotees, all glorious assembled devotees, all glorious assembled devotees, glorious to Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. So we are reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter number 15, text number 5. This is the yoga of the Supreme Person. nirmāna-mohā jita-saṅga-doṣā adhyātma-nityā vinivṛtta-kāmāḥ dvandvair vimuktāḥ sukha-duḥkha-saṁjñair gacchanty amūḍhāḥ padam avyayaṁ tat nirmāna-mohā. Nihi means without, mana means false prestige, moha means an illusion, have been, which has conquered. Moha means illusion which have been conquered. Sangha means association. Doṣā means faults. Adhyātma means in spiritual knowledge. Nityā in eternity. Vinivṛtta means disappeared. Kāmāḥ disassociated. Kāmāḥ from lust. Dvandvair from the dualities. Vimuktāḥ liberated. Sukha-duḥkha happiness and distress. Saṁjñair named. Gacchanty attain. Amūḍhāḥ unbewildered. Padam situation. Avyayaṁ eternal. Tat that. The translation is that those who are free from false prestige, illusion and false association, who understand the eternal, who are done with the material lust, who are freed from the dualities of happiness and distress, and who unbewildered know how to surrender unto the Supreme Person, attain to that eternal kingdom. And the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, the surrendering process is described here very nicely. The first qualification is that one should not be deluded by pride, because the conditioned soul is puffed up, thinking himself the Lord of material nature. It is very difficult for him to surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One should know by the cultivation of the real knowledge that he is not a Lord of material nature. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Lord. When one is free from delusion caused by the pride, he can begin the process of surrender. For one who is always expecting some honor in this material world, it is not possible to surrender to the Supreme Person. Pride is due to illusion. For although one comes here, stays for a brief time and then goes away, he has the foolish notion that he is the Lord of the world. He thus makes all things complicated and he is always in trouble. The whole world moves under this impression. People are considering the land, this earth, to belong to human society, and they have divided the land under the false impression that they are the proprietors. One has to get out of this false notion that human society is the proprietor of this world. When one is freed from such a false notion, he becomes free from all the false association caused by familial, social, and national affections. These faulty associations bind one to this material world. After this stage, one has to develop spiritual knowledge. One has to cultivate the knowledge of what is actually his own and what is actually not his own. And when one has the understanding of things as they are, he becomes free from all dual conceptions such as happiness and distress, pleasure and pain. He becomes full in knowledge, and then it is possible for him to surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Om Jnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshul-militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavascha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanatanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namaha Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. This is the beautiful verse that first gives us the opening of the door for not only liberation, but allows to surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Otherwise, there is no iota of what is surrender meaning. But regardless, if we see that even before becoming a devotee, we were all entangled into the material world. We were completely in the bondage of action and reactions and good and bad and happiness and distress. There were all the different kinds of sufferings there. And we were trying to look for the relief from it. So Krishna is putting a picture of reality of this material world. In this beginning of this chapter, he explains this material world is like a banyan tree which is having his branches, twigs, and all, they are downward, and the roots are upward. And it is so dense that you do not know where is the beginning and where is the end. And this entanglement in the banyan tree, the dense banyan tree, is very difficult to come out even. Once who is lost, it is too difficult for him to come out from the entanglement of this banyan tree. It is so profuse, Vishaya Pravala, and the different objects of sense gratification are branching and sub-branching, just like the coral. Coral is Praval, and Vishaya Pravala, this is the coral of material desires. So we say that once you enter into this material world, which is like an uprooted banyan tree, but it is so dense that you definitely get entangled in it. And on your own, it is difficult to come out. But if you develop a sense of detachment, so that detachment is a big tool to cut the labyrinth of this material world, which is like a big jungle, and make your way out. But that acts of detachment, asanga-shastrena dradena chitva. Dradena means you must be determined and keep cutting the labyrinth, and you will be able to become free from it. But that is the Asanga Shastra. Asanga Shastra is very important to hold in the devotional service. We can't, put Sangha anywhere and everywhere. even in the material sense objects. No, we should be detached. We should be detached. Attachment happens by the mode of passion and ignorance. So these two modes are dictating us into getting more deeper into the realm of material entanglements, but simultaneously cultivating the sense of detachment, because anyway we are unable to become victorious. Everywhere we see there is only defeat. So instead of getting defeated, if we use asanga sastra, the shastra means the weapon of detachment is very important. So there it is said, that asanga sastrena dradena chitva tata padam tat parimargitavyam yasmin gatana nivartanti bhuya. Oh my God. If we become free from this entanglement, then you are having an impetus to marg. This marg means parimarg. Tat parimargitavyam. This supreme royal road to that destination that we are supposed to do, where yasmin gatana nivartanti bhuya, where we will not have to return. Na nivartanti. So tameva chadyam purusham prapadye. There in that abode, the gantavya sthan, we call Golok Vrindavan, there we take shelter, purusham prapadye, to that supreme Purusha, Lord Shri Krishna, whose activities of this creating material world, sustaining and dissolving, and creating repeated births and deaths, these are very old activities going on. Yatah pravruti prasuta purani. All the activities have been coming out from there and regulated from there, where Lord Krishna is the supreme controller. So this is the actual sense of entanglement and impetus by taking shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna, but who can take the shelter? These are the pre-qualifications required. Nirmāna-mohā. Those who have come out from this mesmerizing material world, they have withdrawn by asanga. So jita-saṅga-doṣā. What we entangled due to the dosha, means the faults created by our sangha, now we will become victorious over that, and we will be able to adhyātma-nityā. We will be thinking only in that liberated condition, which is said to be the para sattva. Parasattva. It is beyond the material mode of goodness even. So adhyātma-nityā, we will be engaged in the study, practice of the functions of Atma. That is our soul. What is our original occupation? Like that. Knowing the soul as the part and parcel of the Supreme Whole, then it must be having its constitutional position in serving Lord Krishna. So that being acquired, we will become free from the duality. Dvandvair vimuktāḥ. Dvandva means duality. The duality is in the material world. There is opposites of two, and they contradict each other in the material world, like tall, short, hot, cold. These are all dual things. You see that there is no one singular kind of atmosphere. Now that you will find only in the blissful Satchidananda atmosphere. And they are so uniform there. Everything is cognizant, everything is eternal there, and everything is filled of bliss. So in the dvandva, sukha-duḥkha-saṁjñair, we experience sometimes happiness and sometimes distress. Saṅjña means, and they are named, this experience of dvandva are named like sukha-duḥkha. The gacchanty amūḍhāḥ. Amūḍhāḥ, now he is not a mood. Now he is not an ajnani. Now he knows. So those who are coming out from the ignorance of material existence and bent towards the spiritual existence, which is eternal, they prefer. So they go. Padam avyayaṁ tat, that padam, which was said to be previously how to achieve, the process is given. To cut the labyrinth of the bhavatavi or the dense dark forest of material existence, it is extremely difficult unless one has developed detachment, and use this weapon as an axe to cut the roots. So you will become free. So this is the adhyātma-nityā vinivṛtta-kāmāḥ qualifications are required. Nirmāna-mohā, jita-saṅga-doṣā, adhyātma-nityā vinivṛtta-kāmāḥ. Those who are free from the false prestige, illusion, and false association, who understand the eternal, who are done with the material lust, and who are freed from the dualities of happiness and distress, and who, unbewildered, know how to surrender unto the Supreme Person to attain that eternal kingdom. So these are the prerequisites to surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Detachment is there. Then nirmāna-mohā, it should be free from all the effect of material attachment that are bewildering. Jita-saṅga-doṣā, and you should be free from the doshas or the faults received from association with the materialistic man, material acquisition itself, like that. Then the adhyātma-nityā, you must become introspective or study the he should be studious in the science of self-realization, science of the self-realization in an eternal occupation, vinivṛtta-kāmāḥ. He should be freed from lusty desires even that will create dvandva, means the duality, and he will become free. Sukha-duḥkha-saṁjñair, which is named as happiness and distress. So these are the qualities of a devotee who want to surrender. Only they can surrender and go to that infallible padam, the destination, which is called Golok Vrindavan. So, having said so, we are given these instructions by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is now a non-dual, entity, who is the origin, because all the extended material worlds and its activities are regulated from there. And it is from time immemorial. So, if he is the origin, then we have to understand him also. So therefore, Krishna is now introducing himself as the Supreme Person, and nobody can compete him. Nobody can become equal to him like that. This infallible state of the spiritual existence of Lord Shri Krishna and his abode is a factual description, but it is only obtained through this particular methodology, that one has to become detached from the material life, material entanglements. One has to become detached. One must be determined. Drada means very determined. You hit hard with intention to cut. If you do little bit, then it won't cut. But your intention should be very, very determined that you want to become free. But here is the weapon of asanga. Asanga means detachment, not sanga, attachment, but asanga. Asanga shastrena dradena chitva, like that. So, these are pre-qualifications in this particular chapter. Lord Shri Krishna, out of his own, merciful, kindness, that he is explaining about himself and his abode, and who goes there. Those who are going to come repeatedly here, they need not know much about that supreme abode. But those who are pure devotees, they want to come and make the supreme abode or bring supreme abode right on the planet Earth. Then they can ask Mama Janmani Ishware Bhavatat Bhakti Rahetuki. So the process of going to him is also introduced here. That is pure devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead alone. So Krishna has to prove himself. So far in the 4th chapter and onwards, Krishna gave his majestic aspect, but here now his personalized aspect of the Supreme Personality is being exposed. And how he will be ascertained as the Supreme Person, it's very interesting to know. And those who are trying, whether they are impersonalists, it's a challenge for them. Those who are yogis and trying to meditate, they will have a hard time, but they will have darshan of the Supreme Person, but they won't be able to interact with them. Only the devotees will be able to interact. So acts of devotional service to the Supreme Person is very well going to be established here in this particular chapter. That Purushottam, this month is Purushottam month. It is very auspicious to understand him as Purushottam, the way he tells. Atham pratitam loke janati purushottamam. So this janati, Krishna proves himself, and if we know in that way, then we also come to know. So this entire chapter of Purushottam Yoga, or the Yoga of the Supreme Person, is so much personalized information about the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself. And He tells out of sweet will the way to go, how to approach Him, how to do. First of all, we cannot approach if we are entangled in this material world. So therefore He says how to develop the acts of detachment and cut the labyrinthine with very firm faith on Him. So this way, Lord Shri Krishna is, introducing His Supreme Personality. It is important that will baffle the impersonalists and Mayavadis, that they cannot enter into this realm of knowing His personality. They will think that this is an allegory or representation, or it is just to understand. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead is beyond the realm of understanding through three modes of material nature. You must become liberated first. So the prerequisite is also given. And both the Lord and His Dham is being described. So it is so much factual that this qualifications for surrendering Him should be invested in a devotee. So this is the first lot of understanding. Then further, if you want to understand the devotional service in total surrender, that we learnt in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and Sharanagati of Bhakti Vinod Thakur. What are these 6 elements of Sharanagati? That is very, very, it's called an active principle. In active devotional service, an active principle needs to work. It's not a passive principle that you cannot practically implement even. No, it is practical. So this is a very factual understanding that it will give you direct perception when you perform in a very systematic way. Pratyaksha avagamam dharvyam susukam kartam avyayaṁ. This is said in 9th chapter already by Krishna, and the prerequisite of this understanding. If you are envious of Krishna, there is no possibility to understand Him. Krishna will not reveal to him, even though He has revealed and Vyasadeva wrote down in Bhagavad Gita. Still, they will not get self-realization about Him being part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. He is Akshara Prakriti and Krishna is Akshara Prakriti. But Krishna says, as person, I am beyond both. So, the Aksharadapi Chottamam Atha Pratitam Me Purushottama. Because I am beyond both fallible and infallible, therefore I am called Purushottama. How can a fallible person is becoming a Purusha? Not Uttam, but not even Purusha. He is an imitator. So this chapter is putting you directly into the contact of the spiritual world and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who resides as the absolute truth personality, who is the Sarva Karana Karanam. So in this way, we need to understand that we have to become free from false notions. It is emphasized by Srila Prabhupada that delusion is caused by pride, and one can begin the process of surrender if he becomes free from it. This delusion due to the pride means one who is too much obsessed by the entanglement of the material world. He thinks he is the owner, he is the proprietor, he is this and that, but it is due to illusion that he has become proud of. And even though he fails at the time of death, this foolish notion that he is the Lord of the world, it will be completely decapitated. So anyone who makes all the false complications of understanding, he is always in trouble. So he doesn't get any clue what Krishna wants to say and help him out. So those who are fallen into the ocean and drowning, Krishna extends the hand to pull them out, only those who are favorable. So the whole world moves under this impression. People are considering the land, this earth, to belong to human society. And they have divided the land under different false impression that they are the proprietors. Even up to the nation or international boundaries, they think they are the owner and proprietor. One has to get out of this false notion that human society is the proprietor of this world even. Now, when Prabhupada went to New York one time, he was received by the devotees and some reporters were there. So one reporter asked, Swamiji, how do you like our country? And Prabhupada retorted, who says this is your country? You have stolen from Red Indians and now you say yes? The original owner is Krishna. I have come here to give this land back to him. And the reporter got shut up, could not say anything further. So this is the cutting edge of the false pride. Prabhupada was always, mindful that he is a servant of Krishna. He has not come here to occupy land or get the proprietorship of anything, So when one is freed from such a false notion, he becomes free from all the false association caused by familial, social, and national affections. So these false notions have been supported by the family, society, and nation. So that is false notion is also called adhyātma-buddhi. Adhyātma-buddhi. The body is the self, and whatever I think about my body or expansions of my body is all in all. But this is false notion, because it is said in Srimad Bhagavatam, yasyasti buddhi kunapetri dhatuke swadhikkalatrādishu ijjabhaumadhi yat tirtha buddhi salilena karhichit janeshu abhiggeshu sa eva gokhara, whose intelligence is made up of a bodily conception, and the conception is made from kapha, pitta, and vayu, three dhatu. So Yasyatma buddhi kunapetri dhatu. It is based on the three dhatu of kapha, pitta and vaya. And therefore he considers swadhi, that his own intelligence is expanded towards kalatra adishu, ijabhomadhi. Kalatra means wife, adishu means children and other family members, and ijabhomadhi, go even society or even the land which this body, is precious body, is born, is more worshipable. There is a wrong connotation is given from Ramayana, where Ramchandra is telling that the supreme abode of Ayodhya is his birthplace. But that birthplace is not considered to be a material birthplace. Saket Dham is always there. Ayodhya is always there in a chamber called Golok Vrindavan. A chamber of Golok Vrindavan is Ayodhya, another is Navadvip, another is Dwarka, like that. So it is the supreme abode, and that we have to be proud of. So Ramchandra says, Janani Janma Bhumischa Swargadapi Gariyasi. This Mother Earth, where Janma means the body has been brought forth, it is very magnanimous than even Swargalok. And why should we apply to that? It is Ramchandra who was born in Ayodhya, and Ayodhya is a dham, is an eternal dham. But the false notion that takes you to consider the land of your birth is very, very dear to you, so you can sacrifice your life for them. And that is not topmost bhakti. They say Desh Bhakta is the best Bhakta. But you can see how much Desh Bhakta one can, for how long. So it's a false notion because it is generated by false buddhi. Kunapeti tridhatu. The buddhi composed of kapha, pitta and vaya, means attached to material body only. So, Swadhikalatra-adishu ijjabhomadi yat tirtha buddhi salilena karhichit. Srimad Bhagavatam says the buddhi becomes absorbed in tirtha. Tirtha means completely purified place. Therefore people go. Why do you have to go tirtha yatra? Because you want to purify your materialistic intelligence into pure devotional intelligence. So there you associate with the sadhus who are like tirthis. Tirthim kurvanti tirthani. These tirthis are the one who makes the tirtha very pure. Otherwise, the tirtha and the water which is flowing there, it is also called tirtha, identical to tirtha, but they are afraid of these people bathing in them and making them polluted. So even these tirthas who are so benevolent by the mercy of the Lord that they will purify, but as soon as they come out and they start drinking tea and gossiping and other things, so again they become dirty, and they will come again regularly after some time when enough dirt is there to take another bath. So that is not. We must associate there with the sadhus who are keeping the atmosphere pure, who are teaching the glories of the tirtha, which is the servant of Lord Shri Krishna. So in this way, Swadhikalatra-adishu ijjabhomadi yat tirtha buddhi salilena karhi ched. If our intelligence is not purified with the help of purified sadhus who keep the tirtha so pure, then janeshu abhigeshu sa eva gokhara. That person, his intelligence is compared to the intelligence of a cow or an ass. Cow or an ass. So you can see these false notions becomes great obstacles and the familial, social and national affections. They are causing factors. This faulty association bind one to this material world. After this stage, one has to develop spiritual knowledge and one has to cultivate knowledge of what is actually his own and what is actually not his own. Ishavadya principle. Ishavashyamidam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat. Tena tyaktena bunjitha. Whatever you see in the material world, it belongs to Krishna, but you have been given your quota to sustain. But magrata kasya svidanam. Don't encroach on the one that does not come into your quota. Don't grab somebody else's property like that, you know. So it is forbidden that way. So after this stage, one has to develop spiritual knowledge. One has to cultivate knowledge that what actually is his own and what is actually not his own. And when one has an understanding of things as they are, he becomes free from all dual conceptions, such as the happiness and distress, pleasure and pain. He becomes full in knowledge that is possible for him to surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, otherwise not. Everything belongs to Krishna. And Krishna is so kind that he has given our quota to maintain just enough to keep the body and soul together. But if we encroach, then we will become liable because it does not belong to us. We must know it belongs to whom and we should give him back. So in this way we are told by Srila Prabhupada in the purport how to cultivate the knowledge of the Absolute by this particular verse and come to that platform or padam, that is param padam. Param padam means where the Supreme Lord is staying. Padam means the platform, padam means also the residential frame. So in the next verse, Krishna will give you the address of his padam. So anybody has any question, would like to stop here?
Hare Krishna, anybody has any questions, you can raise your hand and then unmute and ask.
Hello.
Dandavat Pranam Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj.
Bolo.
Dandavat Pranam Guru Maharaj. Hanji. Maharaj, I wanted to ask whether I'm born with this moha principle. Is one born with this moha?
Moha.
Born with
Yes.
moha.
Moha means illusion. What is that?
Yeah, delusion or illusion, Guru Maharaj, I'm not sure about it.
Both are same, delusion and illusion.
So am I born with the delusion? And it is said that a living entity is perpetually deluded. And the verse says that nirmāna-mohā. So how can I go away from delusion?
You can get rid of the illusion by detachment. Because the illusion has a cause which is called attachment. Whether it is family attachment, social attachment, whether it is national attachment.
Yes, yes.
And it is based on bodily conception of life. I am this body, and all the other bodies are also belonging to me because they are related to me, and this and that. So one is in bewilderment. Why? Because he takes pleasure and pain which is fleeting through these agencies, the family, society, and the nation. You are constantly deluded, means always under illusion. When total illusion is called delusion, it's like a distraction. So our consciousness is destroyed when we are attached, too much attached to our bodily conceptions. Right? So how to come out from this? It is a dense or very deep attachment.
Yes.
One has to cultivate the sword of detachment. The detachment must be known by comparative understanding what is meant by detachment. Rupa Goswami gives a very good clue of detachment. Is that we do not reject anything that is existing because everything belongs to Krishna, right?
Yes, yes.
So, but if you have those things and you want to become detached from it, then use it in Krishna's service or engage them. Engage the objects of your attachment not in your service, but in service of Krishna. Then you are rightly situated. That is called yukta-vairagya.
Yes.
Yukta-vairagya, it will connect you with Krishna because you are using it for Krishna and not for your sense gratification. So this state is very much appreciated in bhakti.
Yes.
Otherwise, prāptaya buddhya hari vastuna sambandhina mumukshuhi parityago vairagyam falgu kathyate. Falgu vairagya means false detachment, false rejection of the material world. They think, oh, I don't want to be attached, so let me get rid of it. No, because it is not yet coming into to be in association of Krishna's service. It should be there. So therefore, that kind of vairagya or tyag is falgu. Falgu means pretentious.
Yes.
All right. While on the other behalf, Rupa Goswami says that yukta vairagya means
Utilizing.
what is the verse starting from?
I don't know.
Anasaktasya vishayan yata arham upayunjata nirbandhe Krishna sambandhe yukta vairagyam uchyate. Anasakta vishayan. Anasakta means I don't want to use for my sense gratification, or I don't want to do any sense gratification. Rather, I want to use it in Krishna's service. So, yatha arham upayunjata. I want to engage that the same attachment in Krishna's service. So nirbandhe Krishna sambandhe. It should not be binding me, but I will use in Krishna sambandhe. That is called yukta vairagya, and that is appreciated. You will become liberated by cultivating that.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right?
Yes, yes, Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Anyone else have a question or comments? No one else is coming yet, Guru Maharaj.
All right.
Thank you very much, Guru Maharaj.
Glory to Prabhupada.
Srila Gurudev ki jai.
Jai.